The story begins in the desolate, icy expanse of the Arctic, where an astonishing discovery is made at a remote mining research site. Beneath layers of snow and frost, a massive block of ice is uncovered. Sturdy net securing the ice block, the helicopter takes off. Inside, the air buzzes with anticipation as scientists prepare to analyze their enigmatic discovery. Dr. Shepard, an anthropologist deeply devoted to his field, soon arrives on site. Unlike the others, his passion for ancient history is evident in every step he takes. As he walks through the corridors with the team, Dr. Brady, the lead scientist, casually recounts the story of a frozen mammoth discovered by Russian scientists. Shepard listens with interest, though he chuckles in disbelief when Brady mentions that the mammoth meat had reportedly been eaten and enjoyed by those who found it. The research team is a collection of brilliant minds. Dr. Vermeil, the tech expert overseeing computerized analysis, Dr. Singh, a medical professional responsible for ensuring minimal damage to the specimen during examinations, and Whitman, the administrative head who ensures everything runs smoothly. Together, they stand before the mysterious ice block, unsure of what lies within. The size suggests it might be a mammoth, or perhaps something else entirely. With precision and care, a laser begins to carve into the ice, slicing away chunks from the edges and top. The room falls silent as the shape inside becomes clearer. At first, the figure is vague, like a shadowy outline trapped in a crystal. But then they see it, a hand, followed by the faint features of a face. Dr. Shepard steps forward, his breath visible in the cold room, and declares with confidence that the specimen is at least 40,000 years old. His voice cuts through the quiet. It's a Neanderthal. The discovery shocks everyone. A caveman, frozen in time. The block is moved to another room to begin thawing, and the scientists meticulously monitor the process. As the ice melts, they note details about the figure inside. The thick, woolly coat draped over its shoulders, a necklace adorned with talismans, and primitive tools clutched in its hands. Then, something extraordinary happens. The Neanderthal's once frozen body begins to show signs of life. First, its arms collapse onto the table with a thud. Then, the machines monitoring the thawing process detect faint but unmistakable activity. A heartbeat, a pulse, and then brain activity. The room erupts into chaos as the team scrambles to respond. Using a defibrillator, they manage to revive the ancient man, bringing him back from the brink of oblivion. The moment is surreal. A living, breathing Neanderthal now exists in the modern world, a feat that seems almost too incredible to believe. Discussions break out about the implications of this achievement. Some speculate about medical advancements, envisioning a future where humans with terminal illnesses could be frozen and revived when cures are discovered. But Dr. Shepard has a different perspective. He insists that they focus on understanding the Iceman as a sentient being, rather than treating him as a mere scientific specimen. Shepard's argument wins out, and the Neanderthal is moved to a vivarium, a specially designed habitat that mimics the environment he might have known. It features lush vegetation, a small waterfall. The team hopes the setting will help him adjust to his new reality. When the Iceman awakens in the vivarium, he begins to explore cautiously. His movements are both primitive and curious as he interacts with his surroundings. He even demonstrates resourcefulness, crafting tools and using stones to start a fire. But the strain of his situation is evident as he frequently retreats to rest. The peace of the vivarium is shattered one day when the Iceman stumbles upon something unexpected, a modern hose attached to a gauge. Confused, he examines it with curiosity. Pulling on the hose, he inadvertently discovers a trapdoor leading to another part of the research facility. Breaking through, he escapes the confines of his habitat. Panic spreads among the scientists. Armed with a tranquilizer gun, Loomis, one of the security personnel, confronts the Iceman. As the ancient man roars in defiance, the tranquilizer dart strikes and he collapses. Shepard watches helplessly as the Iceman is once again transported, this time back to the sterile confines of an operating room. Later, over drinks, Dr. Brady muses about ancient peoples with remarkable physical adaptations, such as the ability to endure extreme conditions without injury. Shepard listens thoughtfully, piecing together a theory about how the Iceman might have survived being frozen for so long. He petitions for more time to study the Neanderthal, convinced that there is still much to learn. The next day, Shepard re-enters the vivarium to attempt direct interaction. The Iceman, now awake, reacts with hostility, waving his arms in warning. Loomis stands by with another tranquilizer, ready to act if necessary. Shepard approaches slowly, his movements non-threatening. For a tense moment, the Iceman pins Shepard to the ground, a rock poised to strike. but something in Shepard's eyes gives the ancient man pause. He hesitates, then lowers the rock. Introducing himself as Charu, the Iceman seems to begin understanding Shepard's intentions. Shepard, in turn, nicknames him Charlie, and a fragile bond begins to form. Over time, the scientists observe Charlie's behavior and attempt to communicate with him. Dr. Chapman, a linguist, joins the team, suggesting ways to bridge the language barrier. Shepard and Charlie grow closer, sharing simple games and meals, even sitting together by a fire. Shepard hums a tune, and Charlie mimics the sound. As the team pressed on with their study of Charlie, Charlie was sedated in preparation for a significant test. The researchers wanted to determine if his blood contained any unique properties that might have allowed him to survive being frozen for so many millennia. The results could lead to groundbreaking medical advancements. This test had been Dr. Shepard's suggestion, though now, watching Charlie strapped down and unresponsive, he regretted the idea. Dr. Singe, the medical expert, spearheaded the experiment, as he seemed more interested in results than the ethical implications. Shepard couldn't help but feel uneasy about Singe's approach. After the test was completed, Shepard visited Charlie in the vivarium. He felt compelled to apologize, even if Charlie couldn't fully understand his words. Charlie, however, appeared deeply troubled. In his eyes, Shepard saw something more profound than anger. He saw despair. Charlie pointed to his chest and mimicked the motion of driving a spear into his heart. He wanted Shepard to end his suffering. The gesture left Shepard shaken. He had never considered how difficult this strange, lonely new world must be for Charlie. Life, already harsh in his time, seemed unbearable now. Shepard firmly refused Charlie's plea. "No," he said softly but resolutely. Above them, some of the facility staff watched from the observation window, their expressions unreadable. Later that evening, Shepard approached Dr. Brady, hoping she might help him reach Charlie on a deeper level. Brady, the lead scientist, was hesitant. Shepard suggested that Charlie might be more receptive if a woman were present. Initially, Brady refused, dismissing the idea as unprofessional and risky. Shepard didn't press her, but continued to observe Charlie on his own. The following day, Brady unexpectedly joined Shepard in the vivarium. Charlie was crouched near the edge of the artificial waterfall, drawing shapes in the dirt with his finger. When he saw them approach, he quickly retreated behind some bushes, watching them cautiously. Brady stood still, her body tense. Charlie stepped out of hiding and cautiously approached Brady. Fascinated, he reached out to touch her hair, sniffing it with an air of wonder. Shepard quickly intervened when Charlie's curiosity became too personal, guiding him back a step. Charlie tilted his head, seemingly apologetic, and disappeared into his cave. Moments later, he returned, holding the shiny hose gauge he had found earlier. He extended it toward Brady, as though offering it in exchange for her presence. Later that day, Charlie drew new figures in the dirt, a woman and two smaller figures beside her. The meaning was clear. He was remembering his family. Shepard and Brady exchanged a glance, the weight of Charlie's loneliness pressing heavily on them both. Suddenly, a helicopter passed overhead, its shadow sweeping across the vivarium. Charlie's demeanor changed instantly. He began to chant, his voice low and rhythmic. The scientists, unsure of the significance, decided to leave him alone. That night, Shepard had an idea. He visited a nearby Eskimo village and listened as three women performed a spiritual chant. The melody was hauntingly similar to Charlie's. When the chanting stopped, Shepard asked about their word for bird. To his surprise, it closely resembled the term Charlie used. Shepard hurried back to the facility to share his findings with Brady. He explained his theory. Charlie's tribe had likely faced starvation, forcing him to embark on a spiritual journey or dream walk to seek divine intervention, had led Charlie into the frozen wilderness, where he became trapped in the ice. One evening, as Shepard left the vivarium, Charlie seized his opportunity. Using his strength, he forced open the retractable door and escaped. With a makeshift spear in hand, he wandered the facility, moving from room to room in confusion. He encountered various animals used for experiments, including a bear and colorful parrots. Charlie eventually stumbled into a laboratory, accidentally knocking over a beaker of acid. Moments later, Dr. Vermeil and Maynard arrived to contain the situation. Startled by their sudden appearance, Charlie lashed out, stabbing Maynard with his spear before fleeing into the snowy wilderness outside. The team quickly mobilized. A helicopter was dispatched. The pilot skillfully maneuvered it, using the downdraft to disorient Charlie. Finally, he was subdued and brought back to the facility. In the aftermath, the head staff convened to decide Charlie's fate. Whitman, the administrative head, made the difficult decision to terminate the project. The risks had become too great, and Charlie's integration into modern society seemed impossible. Later, Shepard sat with Brady in the empty observation room. He argued passionately that Charlie had been on a spiritual mission when he was frozen and deserved the chance to complete it. Desperate, Shepard approached Loomis, the security chief, and asked him to leave the vivarium door unlocked. Shepard and Charlie slipped out into the icy wilderness together, bundled in thick clothing. Alarms blared behind them as the facility staff discovered their absence. Snowmobiles and helicopters were dispatched in pursuit, but Shepard and Charlie pressed on. As they journeyed through the frozen landscape, Charlie moved with purpose, as though drawn by an unseen force. At one point, a crevice opened between them, separating Shepard from Charlie. Shepard called out, but Charlie didn't stop. His eyes were fixed on the horizon. A helicopter appeared, its outline dark against the pale sky. Charlie raised his arms, chanting in reverence. As the helicopter descended, Charlie grabbed onto its landing gear, clinging tightly. The pilot extended a hand to pull him inside, but Charlie refused. Instead, he let go, falling silently into the snow below. Shepard watched in stunned silence as Charlie's figure disappeared into the whiteness. Though grief-stricken, he found solace in the belief that Charlie had completed the journey he began 40,000 years ago. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our video. Watch the next recaps on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.